Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Bowl or Brown Out Loud, a podcast where stories come alive in the most fun and light-hearted way possible. I'm your host Sania and I'm joined by my co-host and sister Anam. Hi Anam, क्या कर रही हो?
पॉडकास्ट रिकॉर्ड कर रही हूँ बाद में बात करूंगी एनीवे दिस इज व्हाट वी प्लान फॉर यू ट्वाइस एवरी मंथ वील ब्रिंग यू स्टोरीज रूटेड in our brown experiences whether it's a wild adventure a quirky character or a kahani may twist we will share stories that are sure to make you laugh.
So grab your favorite snack, get comfy, and let's begin this journey with everyone's favorite place, airports. And because today's episode is our first episode, we will give you a little bit more. Both Anam and I will each share a story in our segment that we are calling Kissa Time. So you get two stories for the price of one.
Buy one get one free, that's a deal no desi ever wants to miss, right?
Oh my god, yes. All right, without further ado, Anam, shuru karo kahani leke prabhu ka naam.
So picture this. It's the late 90s, and I'm a 6-year-old kid living in Saudi Arabia. The biggest, grandest, and the most exciting thing in my life was our annual trip to India. And when I say grand, I mean grand. Like, I wore embroidered jeans, and not the cute Pinterest kinds, mind you. These were the scratchiest, itchiest jeans in the history of mankind. But they were fancy, and that's all that mattered. My mom believed airports were a runway, literally. Anyway, this is just a bit of context. The real drama on these trips to India from Saudi Arabia started with gold shopping. If you're brown and you've flown internationally, specifically from the Middle East, you know gold is practically a carry on item. My parents would buy gold for all our relatives in India, rings, chains, bracelets, you name it. It's not a brown trip unless you're smuggling societal approval disguised as jewelry, I think. Anyway, my mom was a pro. Influenced by her auntie mafia friends, she had a genius plan to dodge customs. She made us, kids, wear all the gold. I'm talking gold chains, gold bangles, sometimes even multiple necklaces. We were walking jewelry stands. And the logic? Custom won't question kids. She turned us into these miniature Bappy Lahiri clones. As a side note, if you don't know who Bappy Lahiri is, then think about Snoop Dogg equivalent. We were these little sweaty Bappy Das walking through immigration. And when I look back, I was proud. I thought I looked cool, like struttering through the airport, jingling with every step, thinking I was living the high life. And now, as an adult, when I think about it, it feels so embarrassing in hindsight. But you know what's worse? I think this was low key training in how to navigate around rules while still pretending to follow them. My mom would be like, Beta, smile at the custom uncle. Don't look scared. And there I was grinning like a tiny mob boss.
So my hot take on your story is that
वेट बताओ तो कि हॉट टेक क्या होता है.
oh, okay, okay. So, in a hot take, you will hear us unpack our reactions to the story we just heard. So, that's what I'm going to do now. Anam, for me, this story was a blast from the past when we were young and wild and free. It transported me to a time when I think we were the best dressed in our lives. I don't think I have ever worn nicer clothes to the airport. It almost feels like we invented the airport look.
I don't know about looks, but I think I know how much effort and pain goes in carrying out a look because I still have scars to remind me on my upper thigh about that embroidered jeans, which was at that time a prized possession.
Wow. So all these airport looks that we see for celebrities, there's a lot of pain involved because Anam's been through that. She was the OG airport look person. All right. I have more on my hot take. To help me react to your story, I came up with a 5 point scale.
Of
because my
course.
yeah, because my academic training follows me like the ghost Betal from Vikrama Betal. If you don't know Vikrama Betal, please Google it. It will blow your mind. All right, refocusing. Coming back to my 5 point scale. So I made this scale where one is trauma, where the listener would need a therapist. Two is typical, because that sounds more like a you thing. Three is bolti band, when it's too bizarre a story to assign feelings to. Four is brown culture heirloom, because the wisdom is too good to not pass it on. And five is I peed my pants laughing, which is good old LOL.
I already forgot the first three. It's a long scale, Sanya.
It is a 5 point scale. I want it to be super thorough.
Go ahead. I just wanted to caution the listeners. You will see, no matter how hard Sanya tries, the researcher in her kick in. And
Yes, everything is robust, like I say. So for me, Anam, this story is a four, which is brown culture heirloom. And I'll tell you why. I think we looked rich and powerful with our jewels and clothes, and maybe that's why we were never questioned by authorities. So, brown folks, we all know we are stopped for that random check far too randomly. And maybe we should use this story to change that for ourselves. What do you say, Anam? We should dress to impress, accessorize, do our airport looks, and maybe we will have better luck at the airport. Who knows?
it's worth a try. And if not, you'll have better stories to tell us. All right, Sanya. Thank you for your hot take and your 5 point scale and your pearls of wisdom. But I don't want to keep our listeners waiting. So we should get to your airport story, Sanya.
All right, so this is a story about me taking a flight from Hyderabad to San Francisco around 15 years ago, and I was flying economy. And while I was going to the airport, I thought to myself, let me try to get a business upgrade. So when I arrived at the airport, I quickly started method acting. I was limping as I was walking towards the ticket counter. And when I reached the ticket counter, I gave a fake sob story to the person there. I told him that I'd had surgery on my leg and it was really hard for me to bend my leg and it would be really difficult to do that on the flight, and asked if it was possible to get a complimentary business upgrade. The person at the counter bought my story. He either was convinced by my method acting, or he felt really sad for me for making up this lie. Either ways, it worked and he upgraded me to business class. Yay! But it came with a catch. So he told me that he will only be able to upgrade me for the first leg of my flight. And for the second leg, I could go to the ticket counter again when I land and ask for the upgrade. And I was like, okay, thank you. Bye. This was easy. So that's how I got my business class upgrade. And when I went into business class, man, it's different. Like the seats are different, the air is different, the linen is different, everything is just nicer. And I was a kid in a candy store. So I was super fidgety, super curious, touching everything, thinking about what can I steal? What should I steal from the bathroom? What should I steal from the business class cabin? Constantly asking for food, basically a nuisance on the flight. And the person sitting next to me, let's call him Mr. Sensible, tried to do a mini intervention. He started by asking where I was going, and I told him that I was going to San Francisco. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to San Francisco too, and it's so far away, let's try to catch some sleep." Basically, that was his intervention. And I just looked at him and I thought to myself, you catch some sleep. I have FOMO and I'm going to not even blink on this flight. And that's what I did. I did not blink, consumed everything. And I told myself that in the second leg, that's when I'm going to sleep. So, anyways, I had the best time of my life. I landed. I went back into method acting, began limping as I was going to the ticket counter. And when I arrived at the ticket counter, I gave my same sob story. And the person there was like, okay. She was typing. God knows what they type. Like, and after a lot of, she was like, Madam, can I have your credit card? You're all set for your business upgrade. And I just looked at her and I said, credit card? I meant for free. And she looked back at me, baffled. Like she was baffled. She was she was like, for free? Madam, this is a paid ticket. We don't give business upgrades for free. And I just looked back at her and I was kind of embarrassed. And I said, oh, I'm not paying for this, and walked off. And I thought to myself, like, okay, it was great till it lasted. I got that beautiful experience. I'm going to go back to economy. What's the big deal? But when I boarded the airplane, it was a big deal because I had just flown business and it felt sad. Like, economy felt sad. I felt deprived of the joy that I had in business. And not only was I in economy, I had a middle seat. And not only did I have a middle seat on a 16-hour flight, by the way, I had a middle seat in between an elderly couple. So the husband sat at the window and the wife had chosen the aisle seat, and I sat in between them. And the wife wanted to talk to the husband, and like they were talking, or let me correct myself. The wife wanted to talk to the husband, and the husband did not want to talk to the wife. And I was caught in between this unresolved conflict that was happening. So the husband was trying to have some conversation with me, small chit chat कि बेटा आप कहाँ रहते हैं, आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं, क्या करते हैं. And this annoyed the wife to no extent. She was pretty loud, and I mean, even if she wasn't loud, like I was attached to her, so it didn't matter if she was loud or not. I could hear everything. And she goes, उसी से बात करो तुम, उसी से बात करो. मुझसे तो तुम बात ही मत करना. लैंड करेंगे तो पता चलेगा तुम किससे बात करते हो. And the husband's like sort of embarrassed, and I don't know where to look because I'm caught in between this. So I'm just like not making eye contact with the husband. So I think, okay, let me just watch some TV. So I put on Grey's Anatomy, which for those who don't know Grey's Anatomy, I think everyone knows Grey's Anatomy. It's a hospital show, everyone knows that. So I was watching that, and that bothered her. She was like, हाय, इसने तो कुछ अस्पताल लगा दिया, खून खून है, मैं तो सो ही नहीं पाऊंगी, मेरी तो पूरी फ्लाइट खराब हो जाएगी. And then the husband is trying to get some brownie points and intervening. He's like, Beta, can you change your show? My wife is very sensitive to blood. And I'm like, man, like now she has a problem with what I'm watching on my 2 by 2 inch screen. Like, come on. But I changed the show, of course, because what else can I do? And I'm start to watch something that I don't want to watch, and it doesn't end there because then the food service comes. And this couple, by the way, has got all their food from home, so they don't eat any of the food that we get on the plane. But I have not done that, so I have asked for fish. And fish is like the most expensive option that you can choose from on an economy menu. So I went for that. I'm like, I'm going to get that little bit of luxury that I can on this 16-hour flight on my middle seat. So I get fish, and as soon as I open that wrapper, whatever that is, that tin foil, and the lady is sort of gagging. She's like pretending to gag, and she's saying, अरे इसमें तो बहुत बास आ रही है, इसने कुछ मांस मच्छी मंगा लिया है, मुझे तो उल्टी हो जाएगी, मुझे तो उल्टी हो जाएगी. And I'm like, what? Now I can't eat what I want to eat. So I'm so conscious about the food that I have ordered that I am eating, all that filler things that come on the plate, like that lone dinner roll and the chawal and the crackers and the tiny butter. Like I'm eating all that and not touching the fish because she is going to gag. That's what she's claiming. So now I am sitting in my middle seat, not able to watch what I want to watch. And now I'm hungry because I can't eat the food that I thought I'd eat. And all this is going through my mind. I have to pee. So I tell her, Auntie, आप उठ जाएंगी मुझे bathroom जाना है. And she refuses. So she refuses to get up. And she signals with her hand that I should try to squeeze in between the space, the space between her knees and the seat in front, like that minuscule amount of space. She wants me to squeeze through that space. I'm not going to squeeze through that space. So I pretend to squeeze through that space. And while I'm doing that, I step on her feet and she screams like she's yelling, "Hey, इसे तो मेरा पैर तोड़ दिया मेरा पैर टूट गया है." And everyone around us is looking because there's a 70-year-old woman screaming that her foot is broken. And I'm just like looking down and being, "Oh, I didn't do that." And I quickly go to the bathroom knowing that after this I won't be able to even move in my seat. So I take my time, and when I come back, she makes this whole thing that now she has to get up because last time I broke her foot, which was a lie, by the way. So I sit on my seat and I think to myself, like, what have I done to deserve this? When will this flight get over? And after very, very, very many hours, the flight does get over. We land. I heave a sigh of relief. And as I am standing in those immigration lines, I see Mr. Sensible from my business leg. And I look at him and I think to myself, man, karma is a bitch. And that, folks, is the end of my story.
Oh my God, Sanya, I have so many questions bombarding me right now. Firstly, let's take a moment for the Grey's Anatomy reference here. The Shonda Land reference. I mean, it's a beautiful day to kill aunties should have been the title of your story. I'm so shocked by your behavior, I must say.
You are shocked by my behavior? Like, I was a victim here.
I mean, Auntie, if you're listening, the therapist in me wants to give you 2 free therapy sessions and obviously a couple therapy session with 50% discount, but we'll discuss that later. Yeah, I have a lot of questions around Uncle who was not given his due in the story. Okay. Asanya staring at me. So when she stares at me, I know it's time for her 5 point scale and I need to rate her story. Sanya, I'm going to give it a 2. This is so typical of you. Just to irritate people, you will go to any length, even if it is like ordering a dead fish when someone's not comfortable or watching a show where blood's oozing out and organs are held, but
I
you will
can't
play to the beat.
believe it. I can't believe it. I mean, seriously. This is why you don't tell stories to your younger sister. It's like she cannot see me as a human. Like I was the victim.
I think it's the karma of killing that fish and eating that dead fish. Yeah. Of all the times, you never eat seafood, but that day you made it a point to order the fish platter. That is how mean my sister is. You'll get used to this. But so I'm putting you on number 2, where I'm saying this is typical of Sanya Zedi.
All right. All right. I respectfully agree to disagree, but I want to move along because we have one more fun segment for our listeners. We have a game for you called Bowl Baby Bowl.
But if you're wondering about the choice of names, well, let's be honest, we only spent 3 days coming up with this name. So just give us an A on effort and then you can judge us. Go ahead, Sanya.
Yep. So, Bowl Baby poll, not difficult to say at all, is a game where we asked folks about their classic brown at the airport move. So people had four options to choose from. Option one was whipping out dabba style snacks while everyone else has overpriced sandwiches. Option two was arguing successfully to avoid excess baggage fee. Option three is sneaking in that extra carry on bag as your personal item. And four is sneaking in spices through customs and border control. Over 30 people responded to our poll, and the results are
Woohoo!
in. Yes, the people have spoken. And Anam, you don't know the results yet.
No, but I think I can make a good guess.
So, which option do you think got the most votes?
Okay, let me do a analysis here. Arguing successfully to avoid excess baggage. Okay, this is a core skill I put in my resume, so I feel a lot of people would resonate with this. So I think everyone is going to vote for arguing successfully to avoid excess baggage fee.
All right, Anam, that's your final vote.
Yes, it is.
Computer G. Option 2. Lock kiya jaye. And let's see what the winner is. Ta-da!
Okay, next time, Sanya, I'll do the sound effects. Please.
All right. गलत जवाब Anam. गलत जवाब. That option got the least number of votes, which
No
was
way!
one by you. Anyway, the winner is the winner is sneaking in an extra carry-on bag as your personal item with 46% of the votes. And
Oh my god.
yep. And in second place was option number 4, sneaking in spices through customs and border control with 29% of the votes. So these two options take the lion's share of classic Desi airport moves.
Just a moment of silence of recognizing that I don't know my friends anymore. Thank you guys for being a mafia at the airport and sneaking in extra carry on baggage.
I am
But
surprised, Anam, you couldn't guess that because I feel like as airlines are getting stricter about excess baggage fee, us Desis have figured a loophole with the personal item. I love it.
the psychologist in me was figuring out the social desirability piece where brown people would do this but not accept it on a survey. So that was my rationale. But anyway,
And come on, Anam. Sneaking in spices through customs? I mean, come on. That is a rite of passage for immigrants to sneak in that bhuna zira powder that you cannot find in stores.
I mean, Sanya, now when I think of it, I should have taken the historical context. I just thought our ancestors came into the land of plenty by showing off their spices and getting an entryway. And I thought it was been there, done that. But I guess we're making legacies alive by repeating every single thing our ancestors did. This reminds me of my history
our,
lesson.
our ancestors Anam, did not come to America with spices. I don't know what history book you have read. Guys, I
It's
have
this.
I have so many questions, and my eyes were rolling to the back of my head when Anna was saying her ancestors came with spices. Dude,
They-
no.
I define my ancestors from the 1970s. So because
They did
I'm
not
young.
come with spices, Anna. They came with degrees. Seriously. Anyway, I think we have to move forward because we've been talking for far too long. No one else is listening to us except our mother. Hi अम्मा कल फोन पे बात करेंगे आपसे बहुत बात कर ली anyway Anam, I think you should now go to the closing of the podcast.
That's a wrap on Bowl. If we made you laugh or nod along, like, same yaar, help a behen out. Like, share, subscribe, and spread the joy. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast at Brown Out Loud. Please share your thoughts or your favorite moments with us on our Instagram account, Brown Out Loud, linked in our bio. Until next time, this is us, Anam and Sania, keeping the stories alive. Adab. Sania, खो गई थी क्या? Where are your manners?
Sorry. Adab. Bye.